Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pathfinder Awards ceremony. My name is John Delaney. I have the distinct honor of chairing Pennsylvania's Victim Services Advisory Committee. And I'm here with you this afternoon on behalf of my fellow VSAC members and the outstanding staff of the Office of Victim Services for what I know will be a great ceremony. We're going to honor individuals who have done outstanding work in the field of victim services. And before we do that, I just want to say that this conference is very aptly named because for the last year or two, all of you and your colleagues have found a path to continue to serve crime victims and witnesses across the Commonwealth in the face of almost insurmountable obstacles, but you have surmounted them and continue to provide extraordinary services to folks who desperately need the service and need you. So thank you for all that you've done. I also want to thank the governor for his commissioning of these awards and the Commission on Crime and Delinquency, and especially the Office of Victim Services, Kathy Buckley, Jeff Blystone, Jenny Sigler, and their team for the great work that they do all year, not just during the Pathfinder award ceremony and the Pathways Conference. A Governor's Victim Service Pathfinder Award is the most prestigious award that Pennsylvania confers on a victim services professional or program. These awards are presented annually to recognize individuals and programs that provide outstanding services to victims of crime in the Commonwealth. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Governor's Pathfinder Service Awards Task Force. These are folks who are not known to me or any of you, who labor anonymously and behind the scenes to select the winners of the awards from all of the worthy nominees. I'd also like to recognize the award winners from last year. The 2020 award recipients for the Individual Direct Service Award was Joe Ellen Bowman from Haven, Inc. of Armstrong County. The Individual Direct Service Award was presented posthumously to Joyce McEnany of the Women's Center and Shelter of Greater Pittsburgh. The Survivor Activist Award went to Pearl Kim of the Murphy Law Firm in Delaware County. The Individual Prevention, Education, and Outreach Award was conferred on Gail Brown from Pittsburgh Action Against Rape. The Community Service Award was given to Lara Duskevich from the Domestic Violence Center of Chester County. And the Program Award went to the Nationality Service Center Immigration Survivor Services Program in Philadelphia. You can read more about their achievements by accessing the Event Resources tab on the left-hand side navigation bar on the virtual lobby, and then select Event Information to find the information about the 2020 award recipients. The Pathfinder Awards were established as a way to honor and recognize individuals and programs that have shown a commitment to enhancing the lives of victims of crime in Pennsylvania. With the virtual conference, we'll be doing things a little differently this year to highlight the great work they have done. So we'll now move on to the presentation of the awards. Our first award is the Program Award. The recipient of this award must have made notable contributions to the field of victim services. They must exhibit creativity and innovation in providing overall services to victims and advocating for their rights as victims. And they must demonstrate their creativity and outstanding practices in the agencies or programs administration of their mission. I direct your attention to the video, which will reveal to us the recipient of this year's Program Award. I now introduce you to accept the program award on behalf of Crisis Center North's mobile program, Shannon Schaefer.
I think I'm there. It is a pleasure to be with you. It is my honor to accept the award for Program of the Year on behalf of Crisis Center North. When we began building the mobile advocacy program over 4 years ago, it was in response to Allegheny County eliminating all public transportation options to our center. Crisis Center North leadership began dreaming of how we could remove barriers for our most vulnerable victims. They determined we would strategically place advocates in community-based locations, and the response was tremendous. Mobile advocates were meeting the needs of individuals struggling with addiction, homelessness, and experiencing stigma due to their sexual orientation or gender expression, in addition to intimate partner violence. We discovered that many of our clients never interacted with any type of victim service organization. We would meet with these individuals, and you could just see the fact that they were finally understood for their experiences of victimization that our entire lives. It was remarkable. What happened was these individuals were experiencing higher than average rates of victimizations, but it was not possible for them to access services for a variety of reasons until Crisis Center North placed their trauma-informed services in community-based locations. By rethinking how we delivered services, Crisis Center North has been able to build a 10-person team that is continually growing and adapting to ensure that we can continue to empower victims towards a healthy and whole future, one that is free of violence. I would like to thank the amazing mobile advocates that I have the honor to serve alongside for their dedication every day to this incredibly challenging work. Thank you to the entire staff of Crisis Center North. This award is not just the mobile advocacy programs, it's all of ours. Our program will not be nearly as effective without each and every one of you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you to our leadership, especially Grace Coleman and Hillary O'Toole, who have supported this program as it has grown and rooted. Thank you both for your innovative spirit. And finally, thank you to all the incredible survivors we have served over the years. You honor us with your stories and invitations to walk alongside you in your remarkable journeys. Thank you to the Governor's Pathfinder Award Task Force. Your recognition means more than you could ever know. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon, and congratulations to you and your team at Crisis Center North. Our next award is the Survivor Activist Award, which is presented to someone who, by virtue of his or her victimization, has channeled that experience into a visible contribution to the victim services movement in Pennsylvania. The recipient must possess a spirit of empowerment, which is reflected in his or her enthusiasm in work within the victim services movement, and he or she must have made a notable impact upon the victim services field. I now direct your attention to the video, which will disclose to us the recipient of this year's Survivor Activist Award. It's now my privilege and honor to introduce the recipient of this year's Survivor Activist Award, Karen Wittes.
Okay, I hope you can hear me. Thank you so much. Being a survivor of rape and attempted murder, I often look back and think to myself, why was my life spared that day? I don't think that there will ever be one real answer to that question. However, I want to use this life to help other victims of violent crime to the best of my ability. The physical and emotional scars will be with us for the rest of our lives. I realize that it is nothing short of a miracle that at 16 years old, I survived what was intended to be my murder. This is my way of paying it forward. It is truly amazing to look around and see where this journey has taken me. It is certainly not a journey that I could have ever planned for, but a journey that I hope is making a real difference by turning something so horrific into something so positive that is now helping other survivors. We sometimes think of all of the injustices in the world and ask, why doesn't someone do something about that? Well, I'm here to say we are someone, and we are certainly doing something about that. I'm extremely grateful to be here with you all today, receiving the Survivors Activist Award. I can't tell you how much this truly means to me. I am absolutely honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen, for your service and for your inspiration. Our next award is the Individual Direct Service Award. It's presented to someone who has a history of outstanding service in meeting the needs of victims. They must possess a spirit of empowerment, which is reflected in enthusiasm and innovation in meeting the needs of victims and working towards fulfilling the mission of the agency. They must exhibit creativity and innovation in providing services to victims and advocating for their rights. I now direct you to the video, which will disclose to us this year's recipient of the Individual Direct Service Award. In recognition of her outstanding service to victims in Pennsylvania, I now introduce to you Tatiana Piper from the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Rape, the winner of this year's Individual Direct Service Award.
First, I want to thank the Pathfinders Award Committee for selecting me for this award, as well as Kim Brittenham for seeing something in me that I wasn't seeing in myself for her nomination. I also want to give appreciation to my colleagues, friends, mentors in the movement, as well as my family. They have all been such an inspiration while doing this work and deserving of awards and recognition of their own. I especially want to share my admiration and thankfulness to Karen Galbraith for her guidance along the way, mentors for laying a path for collective liberation, and most notably, my dear friends and colleagues, Damari Rodriguez and Jackie Strom. Thank you both for always having my back and straightening my crown during some very tough times. And speaking of tough times, what have been these past 2 years? There has been the unknown, the struggle, the heartache, loss, and for some, a juggling act. All while we've all been kept going, continue to work, care, put ourselves out there, supporting others, and sometimes doing this all from an empty cup. If COVID has been good at anything, it has been good at pushing us to and sometimes past our limits. The world, our communities, and workplaces weren't a perfect place to begin with. Our field is riddled with high turnover rates, vicarious trauma, burnout, and sometimes discrimination. And pre-COVID, some folks were already just hanging on. So usually as a TA provider, this is the point where I offer you some tips and tricks to right all these wrongs and unfortunities. But most people in this space don't yield the power and privilege to tackle them and take action. Our movement is built in a hierarchical system, therefore it's up to leadership within our organizations and movement to take action instead of waiting for the new bunch to come in just to burn out the same. So leaders, I challenge you to value and support the staff that you have through digging deeply and uncomfortably into turnover rates, being intentional about prioritizing community care, and doing everything to dismantle white supremacy and oppression that runs rampant in our organizations. For those not in positions of power, I first want to say I see you, I feel you, and I support you. You are doing hard work during a time in history that is monumentally hard, but you deserve to be at the table, and you are the person who is needed right here and now. Your skills, passion, and knowledge are worthy and deserving to be valued. And there are people and organizations who want to validate and support you. The first is RAFT, which stands for Resilience for Advocates Through Foundational Training. RAFT's goal is to support domestic and sexual violence advocates so that you all can support survivors. There's also the SOAR Collective, which aims to mobilize advocates to demand accountability and to work to support victim service advocates through their online advocate chat room. If you're into the outdoors, then I'd recommend Reset Outdoors. They are dedicated to nurturing and growing sustainable well-being and the lives of their clients, their community, and the environment. Everything about their services of integrating the great Pennsylvania outdoors feels like serenity. And lastly, I want to recommend seeking individualized support. As someone who often feels they have the answers to the whys and feels of life, it can be sometimes hard to let your guard down, especially when you're helping others. But I know that individualized support is an important part of refilling your cup. There are 2 directories that can be helpful if that's the support you need. One is the National Queer and Trans Therapists of Color Network, and the other is the Inclusive Therapist Directory. And of course, if you need a sounding board or support, I am here for you, and I can be reached at tpiper@pcar.org. I am honored and very grateful for this recognition, but I'm more honored to be in community and working to end violence with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatiana, and congratulations. The next award is the Individual Prevention, Education, and Outreach Award. This recipient must show a history of outstanding service in the development and provision of educational programs as a victim service practitioner in an eligible program. He or she must exhibit a spirit of empowerment which is reflected in their work in meeting the needs of victims and working towards fulfilling the mission of the agency. And they must exhibit creativity and innovation in providing education and information about victim services and victim rights within the community. I now direct your attention to the video, which will disclose to us the winner of this year's Individual Prevention, Education, and Outreach Award. I'm honored to introduce the winner of this year's Individual Prevention, Education, and Outreach Award, Kelly Sagastume.
Thank you so much for this incredible honor. I am so humbled to be acknowledged and recognized among such dedicated and zealous advocates. In January of 2020, Support Center for Child Advocates Project Protect, Philadelphia Response and Outreach to End Child Trafficking, started convening the Philadelphia Juvenile Anti-Trafficking Coalition with the goal of creating a table to discuss what gaps, obstacles, and successes exist when it comes to services for child victims of human trafficking. After only 3 in-person meetings, we were forced to close our agency's doors due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We swiftly acclimated to the new normal, though, and started convening meetings virtually via Zoom. The coalition has grown since then from 30 professionals to over 100 professionals from 50 different agencies. We created a number of resources, including a social service directory with all the youth-specific anti-trafficking services in Philadelphia, a referral flowchart for use in emergency departments to connect child victims of human trafficking to urgent needs, a red flag infographic for professionals to spot the telltale signs of trafficking, and a 9-question screening tool for professionals to better identify child victims of human trafficking. We've conducted over 30 training sessions to almost 2,000 professionals to raise awareness and equip individuals with the tools to support child victims of human trafficking. But perhaps the accomplishment I am most proud of is our development of the Youth Survivor Advisory Board, a group of 6 paid youth survivors of human trafficking ages 18 to 24 who are committed to using their lived experience to bring about change in service provision. None of this would have been possible without the generous support of our funders, the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, and the Samuel S. Fells Fund. My agency's executive director, Frank Cervone, my supervisor, Jess Jones, my colleagues, Aaliyah Cummings from Philadelphia Children's Alliance and Lindsay Monser from Nationality Service Center, who nominated me for this award and who are incredible partners in this work. I am incredibly appreciative of our Youth Survivor Advisory Board, who courageously shares their stories and service experiences to make a difference for current child victims of human trafficking. I also must thank all the dedicated professionals and partner agencies who take time out of their busy schedules to attend monthly coalition meetings, volunteer their time and expertise to present on various training topics on behalf of the coalition, and are often available at all hours to brainstorm a case or accept a referral for a new client. The anti-trafficking community is better because of each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. Congratulations. Our next award is the Allied Professional Award. This is presented to someone or some agency who shows a history of outstanding service in meeting the needs of victims in collaboration with the Pennsylvania Victim Services Program. They must possess a spirit of empowerment, which is reflected in their enthusiasm in meeting the needs of victims, and they must exhibit creativity and innovation in providing services to victims and advocating for the provision of those services. I now direct your attention to the video, which will disclose to us the winner of this year's Allied Professional Award. I now introduce to you the recipient of this year's Allied Professional Award on behalf of the Center for Inclusion Health, Kristen Lazara and Liz Cuevas.
It is our honor to accept the Allied Health Services Award on behalf of the Center for Inclusion Health at the Allegheny Health Network. This program has allowed us to serve over 500 patients in the last year alone. COVID has impacted our communities in so many different and awful ways. This program has allowed us to directly address one of the impacts of it, the rising number of intimate partner violence cases we are seeing, and by offering services in our physician offices, emergency rooms, inpatient hospital floors, and health system. As a result, we have been able to meet patients where they are when they come to us seeking care in a safe environment and give them options, including immediate real-time help, as well as information, resources, and access to care. Thank you to Shannon Schaefer, the Crisis Center North, and all of the advocates who work with us for their partnership, leadership, and advocacy in this work. Thank you to the West Penn Foundation for providing us the opportunity to be creative in how we address issues around intimate partner violence. And thank you to the nominating committee for awarding us this prestigious honor.
Thank you, Kristen and Liz. Our final award is the Community Service Award. This Pathfinder Award is presented to someone or some agency that's made a visible contribution and impact upon the victim services movement. They exhibit a spirit of empowerment that is reflected in their enthusiasm in their work within the victim services movement. I now direct your attention to the video that will reveal to us the recipient of this year's Pathfinder Community Service Award.
This is a video, so you can watch it. Live reply.
For this year's Community Service Award, we're joined by Matt McDermott of Domino's Pizza Lewistown, who's accompanied by Sylvia Midda of Juniata County Crime Victim Services.
Good afternoon. I'm not sure why I'm even here. This plays just a small role in this award. After watching these videos, even a smaller award, I really did nothing. I got a call from this amazing person, Sylvia, who said she had a family that she found needed help. When she assessed the family, she had to hear the horrific story that they went through, something I can't even imagine. I have my Domino's team members to thank, who every Thursday make pizzas for this family. I always make sure to leave with a smile on their face. I'd like to thank the owner of Domino's, the franchise we own, Kurt Spalsbury, who gives me the freedom to do what I need to do and what I think is right. And the most important people, the family, who have to live with this tragedy for the rest of their lives. They played such a bigger role in this award than me. I feel less important after watching these videos. You know, there's so many people out there that were nominated for this award and work tirelessly every day to do the same thing I did really nothing for. And all the Sylvias out there that live with this every day as their job. Sorry. There is great hope, though. I'm not alone. There's hundreds of people obviously out there doing the same thing, trying to make a difference in people's lives when they really need it the most. I'm honored and grateful for this award, and to know that there's so many people out there that fight hard every day to do the right thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Turn this off, man.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Sylvia. Thanks to all our award winners. I hope all of you attended the Pathfinder Award ceremony today. Like me, were educated, inspired, and challenged by the stories behind and the remarks of our award winners. If you think of somebody who wasn't recognized today, I urge you to keep that person or agency in mind next year when the 2022 Pathfinder Award nominations open, and to submit a nomination. All of you are all-stars. In this time of the World Series, it reminds me of a baseball analogy that everybody in victim services, by virtue of who you are and what you do, is an all-star. And today we recognized 6 most valuable players, but there are many more out there. I urge you to think about them and nominate them for next year's Pathfinder Awards. And speaking of all-stars, it's now my privilege to introduce to you the all-star who leads the Pennsylvania Office of Victim Services, Kathy Buckley.
I think I'm more of a pitch hitter, John, but thank you. And let me also say tremendous congratulations to all the Pathfinder awardees. It's our honor and privilege at PCCD to create this venue to recognize the great work that you all do. And I just echo what John said, and please recognize others that you know are just as deserving for these awards in the future Pathfinder award process. But before I give just a few closing remarks, I also want to give an opportunity for Shannon Schaefer from Crisis Center North to show herself. I know that she missed that opportunity earlier, and we heard her. There she is.
It wouldn't be a Pathfinder award ceremony in the COVID era without a tech mistake, right? So thank you so much, Kathy. I appreciate the opportunity. And I want to be able to look at you all and say thank you. Thank you so much for the nomination and the recognition. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Shannon. So it's really been a truly remarkable few days with the Pathways Conference. We've learned a lot from not only the Pathfinder awardees, but two great keynote speakers, and Andrew Campbell and Dr. Gail Stern, and then also from all of you as the presenters of fantastic workshops. So let me say not only thank you to you, but also to all of you that have attended. You know, I have to say it's important to acknowledge for me how much respect that I have for all that you do, and that I hope you leave this conference with empowerment, positivity, that you feel the support of all of your colleagues and also from us here at PCCD. I know that we all seek to listen to the needs of victims and survivors. We want to provide effective, empowering services to meet those needs. And we also want to enhance the collaboration we have with our allied professionals. But I will say this, I know that we can, and we are, as you've learned this week. And of course, I need to say how extremely proud I am of the OVS staff. You know, it was no small feat putting together a virtual conference, and the amount of work and time that they put into this is truly amazing. So as you can tell, I'm getting a little choked up. So one final thing is, as dry as it is, can you please fill out your evaluations of the conference? That actually helps us, and you know how important evaluations are, not only for your work, but for us. We want to have the future conferences to go well and to meet your needs. So for that, thank you for coming. I hope you have a good rest of the day, the rest of the week. Be well and be safe. Thank you.